Good morning. My name is Dylan Palmer. I'm from Grenada, and I'm one of the representatives here at the CBD COP15 in Canada.
Good morning. My name is Linnell Morton. I'm from St. Kitts and Nevis, and I am here representing my country at COP15.
So this is my first time here at the CBD COP15. We did a mock-up back in September in St. Lucia, which gave us a sort of a wetting of the feet as it relates to the CBD and the COP and how we can progress towards an agreement, of the GBF.
So I'm here in COP15, and I am a part of I have been a part of the negotiations where we are seeing each country negotiating based on the different areas, the focus points for their specific countries. And I am here just learning a lot. One thing I can appreciate, though, is the CARICOM training that we had in September, where we were able to get some training on how to negotiate, how to prepare the intervention statements. That was really a plus, Dylan, where we as first-time attendees here at COP, we got that training, we got that feel, so we are not too lost here at COP. There is really a lot going on, and sometimes it can be a lot to take in, especially if it is your first time. So that training really helped us and gave us a little snapshot of what we are experiencing here.
Yes, and I will totally agree with my colleague from St. Kitts, because at the mock COP in September in St. Lucia, it gave us that wetting of the feet, where we get a first-hand understanding of what the CBD COP is like, and what are the procedures, what are the different elements, what are the different viewpoints, and the ways in going about the different framework as it relates to the CBD COP, and how we can implement different measures and how we can implement different programs through coming to a common understanding at the CBD COP 15. The mock-up it has enlightened us to the different thematics areas of negotiating, and it gives us a snapshot, as my colleagues say, of the bigger picture. Being here at the COP15 in Canada, we get to understand the negotiating process, what it takes, how to make an intervention, how to put your best foot forward, and being recognized, and get into a common understanding about the different procedures as it relates to the different working groups, as it relates to the different side events and stuff like that, where we can have intervention at not only a local level, but also as a regional level, where we can put our points forward and be able to have a voice, especially as small island developing states, where we can push our agenda towards being recognized and having benefits for our region as it relates to climate change and biodiversity as a holistic view.
And just to add another aspect of COP15 that I can appreciate is the networking. I came here, I met Dylan, and we can share our experiences locally and strengthen each other. We might be weaker in a particular topic and might need more information, so we are here depending on each other at this conference. So the networking is really a plus to really liaise with the region's giants, I will call them, such as Aria and Helena. It is great to meet them, and we can learn from them, and we will be more prepared for the next COP. So I am really thankful for that experience.
Yes, and this is our first COP meeting, and it has enlightened us, to the way in which the negotiation happens, and the way in which we can come together as a Caribbean community, CARICOM, and where we can put our voices together to be as one on the different issues really affecting and relating to us as small island developing states. Coming here, being able to meet as with the giants, as Lynette said, has enlightened us and showed us the different steps, the different procedures, and we look up to them for the knowledge, for the capacity building, and for just strengthening our whole personality in being here, where we can stand up to make a voice and be heard on this international stage. I really appreciate the side events and the different working groups, because you can get a sort of a better understanding of the issues as it relates to our countries, and we can come together and decide on a specific point or a specific area and have some agreement where we can take it to the higher level, where our points, our agreements, our concerns, and everything can be put forward into the document, where we can get benefit and where we can reach our different goals and our different targets in protecting our biodiversity. So I see this as a very good opportunity for us being here, where we can come together and work towards the greater goal of protecting biodiversity, protecting our environments, protecting our livelihoods, and protecting we, the people that inhabit this earth, together with whole the other creation.
One expectation of this COP is leaving here with a completed document, a completed framework that will guide us in or during this decade. We have learned about the drivers of biodiversity loss, and we need to halt and we need to put a stop or reduce the rate that we are losing our biodiversity. So I'm really hoping that after this COP15, that countries will be dedicated. We will actually go out to back to our individual countries, update our MBSAPs, and put it in legislation, or have policies that will guide this, the protection of our biodiversity. So I'm really looking forward to that, seeing or having a complete document that guides the entire world, and I am hoping that this time around that we have this success. We will look at the failures or the shortcomings from the Archie targets, and now we have that view and we have seen our shortcomings, and now we can improve and move forward. So I'm really looking for a completed framework after here. After all of the work and hours that we are spending here, I am really looking for that completed document that we can carry back home and say, okay, we have been successful. We now have a completed framework, and now we can implement it.
Right. Thanks. So yes, I share the same sentiments of implementation regarding the GBF, how it will be implemented in our different countries, because we see the need for having sort of a backbone document where we can move forward and take our different actions to protect our biodiversity. With this framework, where we can come together as one and put our differences behind and work towards protecting our environment, because we may have different views on different items, but at the end of it, we are all trying to reach that point to protect our biodiversity and stop the loss of our biodiversity in a reasonable time manner, where we can have a well intact biodiversity, not only for ourselves, but for the generation to come. Because we don't want to leave a world that is destroyed for our generation. We want them to have the same benefits that we are having now, and even better in years to come. So we want to work together towards reaching our goals, our targets, to protect our biodiversity and pass it on to our generation, where they can uphold the work that we have started and continue this process for the betterment of the world, for Mother Earth, which is one of the main points in the document, having Mother Earth being protected for future generations.